Let me start with a quick question to both Michalis and to Raphael Schwartzman. It's a question for both of you. Do you think it's feasible that we could have health passports? And if so, who is going to issue them? Let's start with Raphael.
Well, it's a very good point, actually, John. I mean, there are a few alternatives that we believe in the future might be helping us actually to manage crises like this one better. And one of them is the possibility of a health passport, right? You just mentioned it. Obviously, others in the case of this crisis is actually the testing, right, which is today not necessarily reliable enough on the quick test, or there are no ways to test properly or reliably enough, right? So that means also that the health passport is also a challenge, because there's still many things that have to be clarified, but we actually support the idea of some kind of testing or health passports when they are feasible and available. Actually, we already have tested quite a lot biometric technology. So when you combine all of those things, we should be able to use those things effectively to be able to provide without having to go through the complications that we are now probably needing to implement a much safer environment for everyone, and still be able to manage a good volume of passengers. Now, who should be in charge of it, or who should be the ones issuing it? I guess that's, as we said, aviation requires global standard, global agreements. So it will probably require some way to standardize it globally in the way to issue that. There might be different ways to go about it. I mean, as you know very well, we're still struggling to have common visa regimes, etc. So, yeah. I mean, a health passport will not be an easy thing, but we are definitely looking forward to those as being one of the alternatives in the future, but which are not ready today.
Interesting. And Michalis, on that same question, but also, I mean, would you, as Aegean, would you consider air bridges to countries where you reckon that they have done as well as Greece has in suppressing COVID-19? Unmute the microphone. Can't hear you, Michalis.
Yeah. Sorry again. I have to mention that it's not my expertise because I'm the CFO of Aegean, but okay, regarding the health passports, I believe, okay, that my high-level approach is that it has to be a practical way for this process to be applied. For the time being, I'm not very optimistic because there are no specific visibility of how this can be applied efficiently. And just I would like to mention that, okay, air travel has always been one of the safest means of travel. So it already has a strict regulations and certifications, which are right now are becoming even more stricter. So I believe that the health passports are not, that needed that much. Probably there are going to be other ways that could be safeguard the health of and the safety of our passengers and our crews.
I must say, Michalis, that Raphael painted a very glowing picture of how clean and healthy aircraft are. I'm not sure that all aircraft passengers would go along with him on that. But it seems to me that if you're in the airline business, you're trying to turn around your planes as quickly as possible. Whereas if you're going to clean an aircraft interior properly, it takes time. So the whole financial model must be under pressure. I mean, if you take a company like Ryanair, which goes has the lowest cost base, I think, of any airline in the world. But part of that is because its aircraft do not spend very long on the ground. But I can't imagine that if you had a whole passenger load flying, from London to Greece or wherever, eating, whatever, that the aircraft can be cleaned very quickly or very efficiently? That might be a question really for Rafael more than Michalis, but up to you, either one.
No. I would like to mention that, listen, all airlines have to adapt their business models to the new reality. Things are not going to be the same. So disinfections or whatever measures need to be taken, at least for the foreseeable future until a vaccine or something else, a cure for the disease, for the virus is being in place, all these measures will need to be taken and need to be ensured that they will be applied properly in order for the people to get, as you have mentioned earlier about the filters and everything, that they need to feel comfortable that in this environment they are safe. So everybody has to adapt.
But does that mean that inevitably ticket prices will rise, and that in a sense we'll go back 40 years in which airline travel is for the well-off, for the rich, and not for the poor?
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. Okay, maybe Rafael can because he has a more global view on that. But I don't believe that this is going to be in the long run the case.
I hope not, but we'll see. Rafael, what do you think? And I don't think Ryanair is a member of IATA, is it?
No.
No, Ryanair is not a member actually. To the previous point. Yes, initially probably, I mean, first of all, there will be a gradual restart. So we're not going to see the intensity and the speed of turnaround requirements initially, right? So there will be a process that will be slower anyway. I mentioned before earlier that we don't expect a full recovery before 2023. This is not going to be like anything we have seen before. So it's going to be a very slow restart. Or slower than we would like. Second, I would say I mentioned the layered approach. I mean, we have to look at it. You know, we need to tackle this risk in a layered approach to be able to properly ensure the safety and security of the passengers and the crew, obviously, right? So I think in that process and the combination of use of technology, we already have found that we will find even better ways and more technology that will help us improve that, right? You have seen already there are some technologies being explored about cleaning methods for the aircraft as well. So that will help, right? Now on the overall cost, which is the second point, and Mihalis correctly said, we initially definitely don't see that there will be an increase because obviously demand will be very low, right? So, and we have already seen in China, for example, that to incentivize the traveling public, the cost of tickets have been actually quite low. So we do foresee ticket prices to be still remaining on the low side, let's say, for a while. Now, the future will all depend on how these evolve and depends a lot on the measures being taken. That's what we're saying. It is very important that we have a global approach, a layered approach to these measures, and we believe if we do it properly, and so far we have seen strong collaboration. I can speak for the European case where we have worked very closely with the EASA, with the European Commission, with the states, and we have seen quite strong alignment, I would say, in terms of the measures that need to be taken. If we do it in that way, we should be able to restore this industry in good shape. Again, I said before, not in a fast way as we would like to, but in a slower fashion. And at the end, you know, I believe that we will maintain a very good level of efficiency, and we have done it in the past. I mean, the fares have been consistently coming down historically, even in spite of extra measures or any increase in cost. We have found ways to streamline production and being able to do that. And again, I believe this is something, it can be done again, but it has to be in a coordinated fashion, meaning we have to really align on the measures.
Okay, fingers crossed then. Thank you very much, Rafael. Final question for Stavros. Stavros, you railed against the bureaucracy that your industry has to deal with. And yet at the same time, all industries, including yours with the marinas, is more reliant now upon government generosity, government largesse. How are you going to actually persuade governments to actually be more efficient, less bureaucratic?
Well, okay, that's the difficult part. I was expecting a question about what we are going to do the next month with COVID-19, but you are going to the to the bureaucracy issue. Well, we don't expect. We don't
This is your
address.
challenge to get the bureaucracy less.
John, this is not something that we expect magical solutions in the next months. Our priority and the priority for the country and the people is the health and the safety. So we are working closely with the Ministry of Tourism and with the Association of Tourism and all the other sectors of the Greek tourism, trying to find the health protocols to restart the business, because all the sectors are associated. If we don't open the borders and find solutions for the airlines and the aircrafts, so no foreign people and tourists will come to rent our boats. So you see, everything is associated. Yeah. We think that we should start with the domestic boating, and this is what we expect next week from the authorities to understand that also domestic boating is something that needs to start urgently. It is possible to control the problem with the smaller boats and the bigger boats, because they have spaces and rooms inside that you can have a contingency plan and see what are you going to do. And the captain, when a passenger or a crew member has a problem. So we, as marinas, we have already proposed operating plans for marinas also. We expect this to restart. The bureaucracy issue is not something that you will solve the next month, but it is an opportunity. As I said, it is a challenge to use the technology and the new procedures that the government implemented the last month and continue and upgrade, not to return to let's say, to the old traditional way of work.
I wish you the very best of luck, all of you, because we do depend upon tourism. I want to travel. Thank you so much for an excellent panel. And let's now take a 5-minute break and time to prepare for the next panel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.